We are here at OXI Instruments with Manuel, and OXI Instruments is obviously showing their new Oxy1 MK2. We just got a little demo by Manuel, and now we want to speak about this patch. So Manuel, maybe can you give us a little bit of a breakdown of what was going on here?
Yeah. So hello guys, by the way. What I did is, first of all, I was using the performance to mute and unmute different tracks on the different sequencers. So the performance is a view or a layout where you can interact with all the sequencers at the same time, which wasn't possible before. So you can mute one track from a multi-track, at the same time you mute another sequencer, whatever. You can also do transposition, add fields to the multi-tracks, etc. So it's a nice layout to perform and jamming with your patterns. Modulation lanes for all the sequencers, which is very handy. And specifically on the sequencer one, what I had is a sidechain thanks to the.
Oh, it's like you can draw in like an envelope shape.
That was already possible on the MK1, but now the only difference is that now we have 8 sequencers. So yeah, you can draw your modulation like this, change the speed of the modulations, and it's very, very handy to add variation to your synths, or even to control internal destinations inside the Oxy. But let's go to the second thing that I was doing. In the sequencer 2, I reloaded the previous pattern, and what I did is I have these chord snaps here, because we are in chord mode right now, and we can add repetitions. And the new repetition engine, what I did is you can add the repetitions, the number of repetitions, and the duration of the repetitions in steps, plus velocity groove of the repetitions, and time groove is how I call it. Plus you can add chance to the repetitions of happening or not. And you can combine the repetitions with the flow button. So you can select if you want the repetitions to happen when you press the flow button or not. And that's really cool to create more tension, to create variation, etc. You can also use the flow button to enable steps that are only triggered when you press flow. So flow is very handy for that as well.
Okay, so when I keep pressing flow and put tricks in, then these tricks will only play when flow is pressed.
Exactly. When you press flow, these two guys will play, and the repetitions of these other two guys could play as well if we set the repetition to flow. There is one extra function that we create, a new feature that we created. I'm gonna clear the wall pattern. I didn't use it before, but it's worth mentioning. So we can add some steps, go to gen. So basically we're selecting the pitches that we wanna use, and now we can populate them using the generator.
Okay.
We can create an arc like this, or we can create a Euclidean pattern. And not only, you don't have to commit to the Euclidean rhythms, you can add extra step with the density control. So now I have added some extra steps, and the steps that I add affect how the notes are distributed.
Would it also be possible to add steps like completely, so you have a blank sequencer and then just...
You can do that. We can start from scratch. I add some steps, and you see it's not following a Euclidean pattern because we have some kind of random density going on, and now we can randomize the notes like this. Boom.
Okay, so you populate them via this. Okay.
You can lock if you want some note and you don't want it to be affected by the randomizer. You can lock it. And now it's locked, and we can copy this note and we can put it in different places, and these guys now are locked, so no matter what I do, they always keep in place.
Okay, that's cool.
So I can have a base, like something that is, I know I don't want to change, to be changed, and then boom, randomize on top of it and change. Also randomize the octave. Yeah, you see, a lot of stuff, right?
Another thing that I found really important or interesting was the performance features, like that you can transpose on the fly different sequences that you have playing, and also that you have kind of like fill tricks that you can add in the multi-track sequencer, right?
Exactly. In performance, every row is dedicated for each of the 8 sequencers. So when you have a sequencer set in multi-track, you have access to the 8 mutes plus 4 buttons of fields from least to more density, and for this will be a looper, like a quick loops of 3 from 4 steps to 1 step, like to really do this kind of repeat on this specific sequencer.
I've seen you, one question, I've seen you reloading kind of like the pattern after you did the jam. Is that also something you could do when you play live, like when you just really go crazy on it and then just go back to a safe state?
You can either reload, that's one way. To reload, you only have to press shift and load, and it will be reloaded when the quantization happens. Boom.
Oh, cool.
That's
and you
way.
Can do that live, right?
Yeah. Or you can get into the snapshot, fuck everything, boom, 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 I place with everything, and when I'm ready, I press the snapshot, release the snapshot, and when the transport bar reaches the end, boom, it changes.
Okay, that is pretty cool.
Yeah. You have to get used to that workflow if you want. But it's great because sometimes you want to open the cutoff of one synth, the cutoff of the open, the decay, whatever, mute, a lot of things that then you cannot revert manually because it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Another question I had was regarding Ableton Live, because when I use my push, I always miss kind of like a sequencer that is as deep as that. So you could also, with this one here, completely control an Ableton Live setup, right?
Yeah, I have 2 ways of working with Ableton, which is I sync the Oxy to Ableton, right? And I compose in the Oxy, and then maybe I can record the MIDI back into the Ableton, or I simply use Ableton as a sound source and mastering. Maybe that's one way to go. And then, yeah, as a companion tool for an Ableton push is great because we know push has a lot of features, but regarding sequencing has no chance with the Oxy One. So yeah, they pair well, and if you don't wanna, you always have the MIDI input to properly synchronize everything. That should be any problem.
Awesome, thank you, Manuel. So after the interview with Manuel, we just had a little bit of time to dive deep into the Oxy1 MK2, and oh boy, what a fun sequencer that is.
I think this is the last answer on a sequencer you can have.
I think so too. I think I've never seen a sequencer that goes this deep, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super, I mean, it's quite small for how big it can go, you know? And I think what I love is that you can switch from the mindset of I want to randomize a lot of things, I want to generate things, I want to control maybe that one pattern stays like it is, but the rest I can randomize, so you can really play with this mindset. Or you say I want a particular this, and step 2 does that, and you can do both. And I think this is why I say it's the last answer, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I think the size is cool, and what I also really like is the way how quickly you can switch between different setups, so that you can say, okay, I now want to control Ableton Live, so you have your template for that, and then you switch to, I don't know, your Digitone template, and suddenly you can control your Digitone, and everything is already CC mapped for you, which I think is pretty dope. And also, what Manuel told us is that they have already presets on their website that you can download for specific synthesizers, like popular ones. Let's say you have let's take the Electron Digitone and you want this the synth mapped, then you can already just download the preset for that, and then you're good to go, which I think is pretty awesome.
And that's all on a SD card on the side. I like
Oh
that.
yeah,
You know, the biggest thing for me and for my audience also,
go for it.
you can do it in Ableton, but then you can just unplug that USB cable. You go to the hardware and you have all the CVs, all the gates, everything in the back like we want it. Like there is no like clock dividing stuff where you have to kind of play with MIDI to CV. It's just straight from the machine out. So you can like literally take this home studio thing and bring it to a gig and have the same setup, and it will be home. I think that is really cool. It's like both.
Yeah, super strong. So yeah, that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll now enjoy a little bit of a jam session, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Peace.